Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ironworker Gaming channel, or welcome to the Ironworker Gaming channel for the very first time. We have another weapon review in store today, and we are going to be looking at a very interesting weapon in the Crucible. Just a reminder, these weapon reviews are done by a lower skill player and intended for lower skill players. The weapon we have to do today is the Red Death. Oh, wait, I meant the Crimson. Oh, you don't get it? Oh. Is this a bad time for me to remind you to like and sub to my channel? If it is, I'll just wait till later on that. But yes, the Crimson. It is basically a reimagined version of the iconic Destiny 1 weapon, Red Death. It's nearly the same exact thing, except for the fact that Red Death was a pulse rifle and Crimson is a hand cannon. Now, if you take a look at the Crimson, just on paper, this would appear to be one of the best weapons in the entire history of Destiny, which is strange because it does see some usage in the Crucible, but not a ton. I think comp usage rate right now is at 1.2%, which is, it's up there, but it's certainly not top 10, and there's certainly not a ton of Guardians running around using the Crimson. I am 100% certain that there is a group of Guardians out there who use the Crimson full time and are holding court with this thing in the Crucible. But what can this gun do for the rest of us? We'll take a look at its perks and stats, and then put it through its paces in PvP. Okay, here we have the Crimson in all of its bloody spiky glory. This is a 3-round burst kinetic hand cannon. It was released into the game with the Curse of Osiris expansion. It is available from world drops or purchasable from Xur. And when we look at the stats, this is what I'm talking about. Look at the impact, the range, and the stability. They are all nearly maxed out. The Crimson has 24 in the magazine, which will equate to 8 trigger pulls, and it shoots at 415 rounds per minute. The barrel on the Crimson is small bore, giving increased range and stability. The magazine has accurized rounds for increased range. The exotic trait is Cruel Remedy. Kills with this weapon heal the wielder. Precision kills refill the magazine. The grip is heavy grip for increased stability but decreased handling, and the intrinsic trait simply states that this fires a 3-round burst. There is an exotic catalyst available for the Crimson, and when completed, this is what pushes that range stat near the top of the bar. The damage values for the Crimson also look pretty decent. It does 31 on a precision shot landed, and 20 on a body shot landed. This puts its optimal time to kill at 0.87 seconds, and gives it a pretty good body shot time to kill of 1.43 seconds. To reach the optimal time to kill value, it will require 3 trigger pulls, 6 need to land as crits, and you'll need 1 shot landed to the body. To get the 1.43 second body shot time to kill, it will require 4 trigger pulls, landing 11 out of the 12 bullets. Okay, into the pros. Looking simply at the stats and damage numbers, I'm sure you can see the huge potential upside to the Crimson. You know, aside from those numbers and stats, we have the exotic perk Cruel Remedy. An absolutely amazing perk. I mean, it heals you after every kill, and it'll reload your magazine if the bullet that puts the Guardian down lands on the head. I mean, that is quite a perk. If you can land your shots with the Crimson, just think of the hurt you can put on the enemy team with this thing. Never ducking for cover to get some health back, never pausing to reload, just trudging forward and downing Guardians left and right with this thing. Helping you to achieve this is the nice stability stat the Crimson has. I mean, the gun barrel barely seems to move when you pull the trigger. The gun doesn't jump up like, a typical hand cannon would. It just kind of pops up just a little bit, which is a thing that really could benefit lower skill players. That recoil, especially for me when I first started picking up hand cannons, that gun jumping up in the air really bugged me. But the barrel, it just kind of pops a little bit, just like the 180s do. So between the great survivability, the big kill streak potential with this thing, and the very manageable recoil, this sounds like a gun for everybody. This gun should be an absolute monster. But the one thing you can rest assured of, if it were overpowered, it would be exploited, and you would see it everywhere in the Crucible. Because that's what Destiny players do. Now ask yourself, how often do you really see the Crimson in PvP? Especially if you're in the quick play game modes. Maybe you see one guy running around with it every couple matches or so, but let's take a look at why that is. Into the cons. Let me just start off by saying, as soon as I picked this gun up for this review, it felt very odd in PvP. It fires like a pulse rifle, but it has to play by the hand cannon rules, which is not a big deal in PvE. Actually, this is a fantastic gun in PvE. The survivability is insane, but the pacing of most Crucible matches kind of exacerbates the Crimson's shortcomings. The biggest of which is range, and for all the potential problems this has in the Crucible, they all relate back to the range of this weapon. And I know what you're thinking, you're like, Ironworker, that the range stat, it's like almost maxed out, what are you talking about? I couldn't believe it myself, so I had to take it into the Tribute Hall and test it. And lo and behold, damage fall off starts at 28 meters. And believe me, 28 meters is a lot closer than you think. And sure, 28 meters, that's toward the upper end of hand cannon range. But if you're treating this weapon like a pulse rifle, this is really bad as far as pulse rifle ranges are concerned. This presents a major problem for Crimson users. It can't reach out any further than mid-range, and it's not an optimal dueling weapon for closer ranges, especially for a lower skill player who's not quite comfortable with this gun. They're going to find themselves getting eat up by auto rifles and true hand cannons in the range that this weapon is meant to perform at. I mean, the 3-round burst works great for pulse rifles, because they can be used at a safer range. With this Crimson, you're exposing yourself for an extended period of time in close to mid-range gunfights, which is just not the thing you want to be doing. And really, the fire rate of this weapon's not helping it either. It's a burst fire weapon shooting at 415 rounds per minute. It's not like one of the faster firing pulse rifles that can hang at close ranges if a skilled player is using it. This is more akin to the adaptive frame pulse rifles that fire at 390 rounds per minute. And those things do have a tough time hanging anywhere inside of mid-range engagements. So, between the deceptively short range of this weapon and the slower rate of fire, the Crimson is just a hard weapon to use when using it at the ranges the game asks you to use it at. So the verdict. Honestly, I am torn about this gun. It has amazing upside that absolutely cannot be denied. So I really have a hard time telling anyone to not use this gun. But the gun is being asked to perform at ranges it's just not equipped to handle, which makes the usability of this gun fairly low. And the fact that I know that there's a bunch of people out there who can use this gun effectively makes me think that I just was missing something, or I just don't have the skill set to make this gun work. So I guess for higher skill players, try it out, see if this gun fits your playstyle, see if you can handle it at these closer ranges. If you can, I'm sure this gun's gonna do work for you. But if you're a lower skill player, casual player, or new player, I would have to recommend not using this gun in the Crucible. I just feel like there's probably better options out there for you that are going to be far easier to use. Yeah, sorry about the verdict. I'm sure you kind of came here looking for a straight answer, but I got a hedge on this one. How can I fairly rate a gun when its potential can swing so wildly on the skill of the user? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and since you made it this far, how about helping a buddy out with a like and subscribe? The support I've been getting from the community has been fantastic. So let's keep it rolling here. I do live stream on Twitch. If you want to go over there after this video's done and give me a follow, just look for Ironworker814. You'll get notified anytime I go live. I do have a Twitter account still, I think. You can get a hold of me there at Ironworker814, but the best way to contact me is simply by commenting down below. I love answering questions in the comments, and I love engaging in discussions, so don't be shy about leaving comments on this video. And that is going to do it for our Crimson review. I would like to sincerely thank you for taking the time out of your day to view my content. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you on the next one.